magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
What up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's the Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday Night live stream main event. How we all doing? I'm your host, Proto Man. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday, and today is Saturday for most people. I was seeing in the chat, it's not Friday. It's not Saturday for everybody, but it's Saturday for most people, and it's the Saturday Night live stream main event. And we're going to be talking Transformers. We got some new stuff to talk about today. We have a reveal that I didn't know was going to be happening today. It was something I actually worked on officially in Transformers, and I didn't know that it was going to get revealed today. So we'll talk about that today. Just shows how much they communicate with everybody sometimes. Yeah, we got some cool stuff to show off. This is going to be a cool night for people. Let's just say some wikis might be updated after today, or so I say. So let's jump into it. Who do we got here today? We got Billy B. What's up, Billy B? Lizard Sphere X. Timmy K. Poindexter. Transformatics is here. James Hopkins. Who else do we got? Got Abraham is here. Patrick Brown. Ninjatron. What's up, Dylan? Cringe McCringle. Not watching from work. Good man. Any Patreon people here today? Oh, we got a few Patreon people. Ashley. Bigum is here. Talib is here. Roman is here. Horned Owl. We got some good people. T-Formers 2002. Will Murphy. We got the Star Warrior. We got a lot of people. Brainstorm just came in. David Cabal. Double dipping. Patreon bro. So, we're going to cover some news. We're going to cover this and that. It's going to be a good one. Mike Rosen just joined the YouTube membership. Thank you, Mike. On the 26-month span. So, we got a lot to cover. Some of it Transformers, some of it not Transformers, because it was quite a busy week. I know a lot of people have been messaging me about some sharks. Not just David Cabal, but trust me, a lot of people know my love for bad 90s stuff. And yeah, so let's get into it. We got a lot to cover. I'm a little under the weather. It's the change of the seasons, and I've been doing tires like crazy. So excuse me if I'm a little today. But let's jump into it. And the first thing we're going to be covering is a dead Autobot. We're going to start on a high note here. Oh, yeah. Cringe Macro Proto, I posted highlight reels from TFCon 2007 movie watch party. Did they play that at TFCon in LA? I know in the past that used to be a problem because there was a lot of licensing issues. I think it was TFCon LA 2015. There was a problem with that. Never forget, people, when you played the movie at the beginning, you know, it's going to be a crazy one because you might get in trouble. Anyways, I'll check that out later. Should be interesting. So we got Dead Ratchet, continuing that what was the buzzworthy Bumblebee exclusive 2-pack that was the Ironhide and the Prowl. That one didn't sell very well and ended up on crazy clearance. Does anyone have access to that cheap one? Because I never picked it up because we don't got a Target here in Quebec. And they didn't really show up in Toys R Us as they had planned, at least not to my knowledge. I think they showed up in GameStop, but yeah, we ain't paying GameStop's prices. So if anyone has a cheap 2-pack, wouldn't mind picking that up. I'll give you a little something extra for your troubles. But yeah, they're doing the other one. We got the Ratchet here. We see how it looks from every angle. It's more or less just a straight up repaint, retool of the Ironhide with a brand new head sculpt of the face of pain in vain. When you think about it, Ratchet probably was the only one in that scene that really got it low key. Because, Brawn gets the line, Megatron, he gets shot, he goes down. Then you get the iconic, Prowl smoking mouth scene. And then, of course, Ironhide gets busted up and then gets the final word in before getting blown to smithereens. Such heroic nonsense. And Ratchet was just kind of the one in the background. It's just like, darn. Well, here he is, hole in his chest and everything like that. We don't know about the the blast effects that are going to come with it, but probably going to have something similar with purple. And it's probably going to come with a Brawn. Is this going to sell well? History has told us the other two didn't. So stay tuned for clearance on that one. Some call it a Target exclusive, others call it a Ross exclusive. I don't want to sound negative on it, but I mean, history kind of has a way of guiding us to the future. So we will see what happens with that. We will see. Next up, speaking of exclusives, let's go to Target again. Bam. With this one, this one I'm just look, I'm excited about the Ratchet Brawn 2-pack because I'm a weirdo. And I'm excited about this one. But much like the Ratchet and Brawn, look, there's excitement and then there's the sticker shock. And I think this Target Optimus Prime Bullseye 2-pack speaks to me in every way. It's so wacky. It's cool. It has a retail presence kind of thing. It's such a unique character, a nice coloring, a cool little dog transformer, even though it's supposed to be Jaguar Ravage, but it's a, hey, Bull Terrier now, Bullseye gets his own little transformer that transforms into a gift card. I mean, I love everything about this. I love everything about this, except the price. $60 USD, which for a Canadian like me probably comes to about, geez, I want to say almost $80, probably $79. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna wait for this to go on sale, and then maybe someone could grab me one when it takes that deep dive. Because I mean, let's put it this way: if Toxitron that came with everything, with the swords, with all of that, and that one was going on sale and is actually currently on sale. Again, little plug for the Transformers Slag podcast Patreon. If you're part of the Patreon, you're part of the Discord. If you're part of the Discord, every time there's a sale on Transformer product, we let you know about it. And I mean, if Toxitron's on sale right now at $35, what's to say the future of this one? You know, what is the future of that one? So we will see. But I mean, I dig it. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. I just don't think it's like $60 cool. Alden Tolbert with the $2 super chat. Imagine if Waspinator is greater than Galvatron. Which Galvatron? Galvatron 2 from Beast Wars 2nd? Which Galvatron? Waspinator is definitely much more resilient than Galvatron, that's for sure. Waspinator's been. Sometimes I always argue that because he shared for a brief moment Starscream's indestructible spark, I think that somehow linked him to his inability to die in more ways than one. But definitely better than Galvatron in terms of endurance, that's for sure. But yeah, thank you for the super chat, Alden Tolbert. Now, this one here, again, $60, supposedly is going to ship out maybe at the end of the month. What's up, Aaron? Aaron's here today. Give Aaron his condolences. He's had a rough week. That's why he didn't do his live stream on Friday. Give his condolences to his family. He lost his lovely mother this week. Good man. Even greater mother, from what I read. Sounds like a lot of who you are, Aaron, came from her. Good stuff. What was I talking about? Got derailed there. But yeah, again, $60. I don't know. I do not know. Again, I like how it looks. I dig the idea. But in this day and age where we got to squeeze our dollar every way we can with increasing prices and stuff like that, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. Now, next up, this thing I didn't know was going to be announced, and I'm going to be very careful about what I talk about with this one because I'm only going to go off of what the public, I guess we'll call it the public press release was. So this was something I've been working on for about 9 months now with Renegade Games, and it's the Robo Rally Transformer set. So for people that are like, oh man, I should have brought down the other Robo Rallies. Damn, should have brought those. Anyway, so long story short, Richard Garfield, the creator of Magic the Gathering, many years ago, before he created Magic the Gathering, he created a board game called Robo Rally, which was this really fun board game, had multiple different possibilities. It was all about comboing your robots and moving them around the factory and everything. And using that concept of Robo Rally, Renegade Games took Richard Garfield's concept and added a splash of the Transformers IP on it. God, what can I say about this that's not already? So, what is available to see for you guys? Now, number one, there's going to be 6 different characters that are featured in this. Some characters that people will not expect. The choosing of these characters were based on the fact that this is supposed to be based off of the Speedia 500 Velocitron race. That's the Robo Rally that's happening in this. And the choice of characters are all vehicular based because we want to have this kind of race kind of story going on within it. Now, the characters that are available, while I'm not going to say who they are, if you look at every press release that's been shown to you, if you look carefully at the game pieces, you will be able to see all 6 characters, 3 Decepticons, 3 Autobots. I'm not gonna say it just because it's not publicly said, but I mean, if you look at the game pieces, they're there. You know, they are there and you could figure it out. Some really interesting choices. If people are going, "Oh, why'd they pick that one?" Think racing and Proto Man, you know him with his racing. So we went deep into that. Um, so yeah, just something that we worked on for quite a while now. Finally happy to see the public press release, totally unannounced. Um, it's just completely out of left field. I didn't know that this was gonna be announced so soon. I thought this was gonna be a San Diego Comic-Con kinda thing, but I guess not. What did you say here, Dylan? Is Robo Rally owned by Hasbro now? It's owned by Hasbro, but it gets licensed. So Wizards of the Coast produced the original Robo Rally when it was under Garfield. Boy, let's get into the semantics of this. So the very first Magic the Gathering stuff was under Garfield Games. Garfield Games quickly evolved after 1993 into Wizards of the Coast with what's his name, Atkins, who was like pretty much the vice president at the time. And then of course when Hasbro bought out Wizards, that came as part of that package. And this is currently licensed out to Renegade Games. Renegade Games has had the license for quite a while now for all the Transformer gaming related stuff for the past 2.5 years. And I've been linked to that to help with the development in different areas. All of those deck building games, you could find my name. I think you can find my name in the instructions, except for the first one, because I think like they didn't really plan that out. But all the others afterwards, you can find my name under Hasbro developer and stuff. So either way, stay tuned for this. This is going to be $55. There's like 6 figurines in here. There's a cool transforming element. If you've ever played the original Robo Rally, you could play it online even. If you're curious how this plays, it plays very similar to Robo Rally, but with a transforming element and a few other battle tactics to it. Very fun game. I own the original Robo Rallies. I've owned them for like, geez, I want to say almost 20 years now because I was a big Magic the Gathering guy and anything Richard Garfield did back in the day always kind of got my attention. If you're curious about the art, again, I don't know how much is public. I will say so. The box art is Matt Frank. I don't want to talk about the card art just because I don't think that's public yet. But Matt Frank did the box art. I'll say that much because I think Matt posted some stuff already. But love it. Great stuff. Super excited that this is now public, that we could kind of show it off to you guys. It's really fun. I love Robo Rally. This isn't just a bias of me. Like I legit, guys, I could go upstairs and grab my vintage 1994 Robo Rally set that I've had forever. And you could still play the original Robo Rally today. I think they still put out like old sets of it and stuff, like just with like plastic pieces instead of metal now. So really cool. Check that out. Again, I don't know like, see, this all dropped in my lap just this morning. I just know that the MSRP is still the same from what it was planned 2 years ago at 55, and the release date, I was told originally something around SDCC. That maybe has changed. Someone can maybe correct me there. Again, when you're on the inside of it, sometimes you don't pay attention to what's on the outside. So pretty cool though. Very excited about that. Very happy to see that. Very, very awesome. Stay tuned more for that with Robo Rally. And yes, Flame War is in the game. I will say that much. We needed a quick female Decepticon that's ground based, and I thought Flame War would just be such a cool deep cut with a little bit of Sakamoto in there. So you could tell that there's a little bit of my splash in it in some ways or another. And same thing, like again, I think the greatest Transformer comic book ever written was Spotlight Blur, with the history of Cybertronian racing, and the Casey Collar flavor is all over that too. This is what happens when you let my madness, you know, use for a board game. Anyways, guys, stay tuned for that. We'll keep you posted more on that one, shall we? We also got our big Star Raiders reveal today. This was during our live stream with Hasbro Pulse. Let me get a sip of water here. I am parched today. Um, but yeah, so we got a whole bunch of reveals. I know people were kind of down on the live stream saying, "Oh, we didn't learn anything new this time." You know what? You're right, but we only didn't learn anything new only because everything got leaked out. I mean, the Star Raiders should have not been leaked out early. Those were early images that should not have gotten out, but they did, like literally a week before. The Target Optimus, that was up to Hasbro to make the decision to let IGN reveal it early beforehand, like 24 hours before. So there would have been a whole bunch of new stuff revealed. It's just a matter of circumstance that wasn't the case. But, like I said, I did a segment where I went between the lines and all the little things that were there. But there was one thing that kind of was revealed to us in a small sense. And so Mark took a whole bunch of photos and he showed that you could extend the legs of the lockdown here. And if you look at the lockdown and you zoom in on him here, oh, he's got some interesting arms going on there. Those are some red color wave arms of the Crash Bar figure. And who do those red color wave arms belong to? Well, the missing member of the deluxes of our Star Raiders, which makes me wonder if Mark had them at his disposal that early. Um, is it something that he's waiting to reveal next week and they just wanted to save more material for next week? I guess so. Also, primarily because maybe, Road Pig wasn't going to be going up for pre-order, so they didn't want to show off an item that wasn't going to be pre-order ready yet. That's another possibility. There's a few things there, but so yeah, at least we get to see the arms of Road Pig. So that's not too bad. Mark Morales with the $5 super chat. They dropped the ball on the Walmart exclusives again. Filch pre-order sold out fast for members and never dropped for anyone else on Pulse or Walmart. Well, here's the way I see it though, Mark. Like, number one, they get only 5% of the allocated stock that's made for the exclusive. So like for easy math, if Hasbro makes 100 units for Walmart, they only get 5% of that. And then the other 95 go to Walmart across all their locations. So they get only 5 units of the 100. So whatever that number is, let's say they made 10,000 units. You know what I mean? That 5% goes to the website. And then of course, when I say 10,000 units, I mean across all those characters. So Filch doesn't have 10,000 units, and then it gets bought up, and it gets bought up by scalpers. It gets bought up by a bunch of people. But guys, let's be real. Every single Walmart in the country is going to have these. They're all going to be 2 per case. We already know the case assortment. It's going to be 2 per case of each one of these characters, and they're going to be out there in the same way that, yeah, Filch may be sold out now, but you're going to probably go to Walmart in the future and you're probably going to be like, my God, there's only like Filches because no one's going to want a purple bird girl. Trust me. Trust me. Everyone wanted the 1 per case stuff like the Cosmos and everything when we had our last Walmart exclusives. I mean, hey, how many people were picking up Laser Cycle, with the Toxitron collection? That thing was also like squandering on the shelves. Or Cheetos Jazz, or any of the others. So I'm pretty sure you're going to have plenty of opportunities in person to pick this up. I'm pretty sure most of your Walmarts will be plentiful with these, and there'll be plenty of them out there. None of these characters are like some like hardcore, we need to get this to complete my collection kind of thing. I love the idea that we're getting a Filch figure finally. That's really cool for us. But for the hardcore people that like, they're just trying to do their G1 84, 85, 86 shelving and don't give a crap about Robots in Disguise 2015 and their obscure female characters, that's where it's going to benefit you. So I think there's going to be enough for everybody because we already saw through Speedia 500, outside of, again, 1 per case guys like Cosmos getting scalped, everyone else was plentiful. No one had problems picking up any of the other characters. Some of those went on crazy clearance. Some of those ended up at Ross. So it's probably going to be the same story here. I think you'll be just fine. These are 2 per case. There's no, like, again, weird outlier. Everything will be cool. Hornell says the fact that Hasbro allows Pulse members to buy 3 didn't help non-Pulse members. Yeah, again, they're in the business of making money. And the sad reality is that because they're in the business of making money, they could make it one per person, but then they lose out on the fact that they could be selling them all. You're never going to hear from Hasbro that selling out is a bad thing. They're going to be happy to hear that. They always will be. They always will be. Ron Diaz, Proto Man, I promise you I wanted laser cycles. My Walmart never carried it. Really? Ron, where do you live? Like if I'm seeing laser cycles in Montreal, Quebec, then you got to have them at least there wherever you are, unless you're like, I mean, no offense to the Midwest, but some of those locations are pretty brutal when it comes to retail. When someone tells me, "Oh, my Walmart has nothing ever," and then I find out that their Walmart has like barely 50 people a day, which is like ridiculously low. You got to have a good population turnover. It's tough. It's tough. Not everyone has the same story, especially when it comes to the United States. There's a big divide when it comes to that population and turnover of product and everything, and a Walmart manager who's not going to buy more inventory. Um, Billy B, my area didn't get any of the Toxitron series. Good Lord. Geez, some people, man, live in really rough places then. I don't know. I do not know what to tell you then. I mean, man, when I went to TFCon Orlando, that was like the weekend that Toxitron hit. And, like, it was everywhere in Orlando, and then when I went back to Montreal, it was everywhere there too, and then when I hit Plattsburgh every so often when I crossed the border in New York, I was seeing it everywhere also. Hell, I'm probably still seeing it now that I think about it. Um, Hmm. but yeah. Anyways, guys, it's gonna be out there. Just have patience. You'll get your opportunities. You will get your opportunities. Everyone will get their opportunities. Next up is important dates, and two of them that we got to make a note of. So obviously, the Thursday coming up is going to be March 21st, and that's going to be on the Thursday. That'll be our next fan stream. So hopefully, we'll get some interesting reveals. Maybe that's where the Road Pig will be and some of the other stuff. We will see. I do know that BMAC did mention we're going to be seeing some Legacy United stuff. So that might be the next big reveals. Is probably wave two of that. Probably all stuff we've already seen. But again, we will see what happens with that. And then, of course, the week after that, March 28th, which probably will be coinciding with the date we have on the right here. So also WonderCon will be happening that same weekend as the March 28th, 29th, 30, 31st. And WonderCon is going to be having an official Hasbro panel with Evan and BMAC there. They're going to be talking about different brands and stuff and everything. And at 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock will be the Transformer stuff. And they will be covering new Studio Series reveals. Now, those new Studio Series reveals, you know, those potentially will be all the stuff we already saw, like the Bumblebee movie Sunstreaker, the War for Cybertron Sideswipe, and so on. Maybe we'll see the big reveal of the not the War for Cybertron, the Dinobot Swoop 86 will probably make its debut at WonderCon. We'll see what happens with that. It wouldn't be the first time that a convention would be the first time we saw a product. Our Studio Series 86 Commander Class Ultra Magnus made his debut at a convention at a panel. So I imagine that they're kind of saving this too, because let's be real, if you look at all that Wave 2 stuff we had revealed, the most mainstream of them is the 86 Swoop. Everyone knows the Dinobots, even if they're not a big Transformer fan. So they're saving that for a big WonderCon convention, essentially. We got some questions. T-Formers 2002 with the super chat. So Proto, how about them Street Sharks? Oh, we're going to talk about them. Don't worry. And Mayoral Fabrication with $2. Can we have a Target Prime in Toys R Us colors? Well, we had two Toys R Us exclusive Optimuses. They were both, unfortunately, Japanese exclusives through RID 2015. The Jeffrey Optimus Prime or Jeffrey Convoy. We had a legend scale, and then we had I guess we could call it a core class at the time, if you want to call it that. So pretty cool otherwise. I mean, those two exist. I don't know how expensive those are, but they are pretty cool. I did reviews on both of those. Those are really cute little figures there and stuff. So definitely check those out if you want. We have both of those. But I mean, unfortunately, because Toys R Us isn't a big deal in the States anymore, would Hasbro want to work something out with Toys R Us when Toys R Us is also kind of struggling a little bit. A lot of Toys R Us in Canada recently had to do a merger with HMV to kind of keep things going, but that's a whole other story. Again, people are always like, wow, Canada got Toys R Us, and people don't realize, guys, Toys R Us is barely surviving in Canada, and that's only because we have such a crappy toy distribution landscape here in Canada to begin with. We didn't have Toys R Us, all we'd have is Walmart. Like we wouldn't have there's no such thing as Target. There's no such thing as Walgreens. There's no such things as like decent Rosses or Ollie's or any of that stuff. We have very little platforms to get toys in any kind of main retail situation. So Toys R Us survives only because of that. Joey with the $20 gold super chat. Thank you, Joey. Hi, Proto. Sorry for can't stay long for the whole stream. Wanted to ask, how well did the BWVS set sell, and can we expect more of it? Would love for a Legacy United Tasmanian Kid and Tigerhawk also getting premium paint. Thanks as always. It seems like they sold very well, but it's hard to really track the Japanese market because all I could really tell with if something sells well is my buddy Hydra. He likes to go to retail stores and then take photos of the shelving. And then I could only tell what sells well by what is plentiful of and what isn't. So, like, if something there's like a full display of it and that full display's been there for 2 weeks, then you know it isn't selling well, where if you'll see something else. And, the BWVS stuff, that was more of an online exclusive, so it's harder to track. I always say if they do more, then it's doing well. If they do less, then there isn't. They clearly planned out up to, I think, BWVS '08, like they had it all planned out in advance, regardless of success or failure. But I would agree. I mean, if you could get a Tasmanian Kid in darker colors, Tigerhawk, there's not much, silver paint apps. I guess a few little touches here and there to make that one slightly better. I mean, I think if we do see more BWVS, it'll be whenever we get transmetals. Like whenever that day comes and we get that proper transmetal transition and we get some of those characters, we might see some future BWVSs because they really want to stay true to the original BWVS stuff. And Tasmanian Kid, well, I believe he did come in a 2-pack with, gosh, I want to say it was one of the Machine Wars jet flip changers. That couldn't be replicated in this case. And same thing, Tigerhawk, So they want to do something that stays true to those old packaging VS 2-packs from back in the day. That's what I imagine, anyhow. But thank you for the super chat, my friend, and have a good day. Thank you for swinging by and dropping the big coin. What we have here, Talib Joe. Yeah, we're also getting G.I. Joe reveals and Marvel ones too, and Star Wars. But just to mention, Transformers is getting some stuff too, and that's the name of the game here. Ron Diaz, can you imagine Biker Mice from Mars X Transformers crossover using all those bike molds? Man, I would love that. It wouldn't make any sense personally. I mean, I love Biker Mice from Mars to death. I picked up all of those new figures, but at the same time, it's like, like, yeah, like Moto's motorcycle, is going to transform and be kind of cool. But then what did the mice do? What is Limburger going to do? Is he going to get the exterminator to do something? And he becomes a transformer now, go into the deep cuts of Biker Mice here. But we will see. We will see. Last thing we are going to cover is our HasLab. So the HasLab ended. It is the most successful Transformer HasLab to date. But granted, not much, yes, it is the most successful, but I mean, Deathsaurus was maybe only 1,000 or something like that behind this one. So it's something where while this one was successful initially, like the numbers were crazy at beginning and it got backed very quickly. When we got to the tail end of it, there wasn't a huge boost in numbers that I guess people were, some people were predicting, oh, it's going to get 30,000. It's going to beat the Galactus, which is still up to this point the most successful HasLab item. But it's still impressive. It still did very well. I mean, the only thing that worries me, though, I don't want to go on the negative side of it, but this is going to sell a precedence to people with Hasbro. They're going to be like, oh, look how well Optimus Prime characters did. So now it's something where if they do want to do something like this, maybe we won't do it in retail. Maybe we will do it as a HasLab. But if you do it as a HasLab, you're going to pay what I call the HasLab tax, which is, yeah, we could make it, commander class price, but we're going to include some extra plastic that you're going to leave in the box and charge $30 more. And I'm not trying to throw shade, but I'm just saying for more price sensitive Transformer collectors, this is going to be something that might become a common thing in the future. Patrick Brown says, boo, no tier 3. I still think there's a tier 3. It's just they're just waiting for it to be the next time. Look, our live stream coming up this Thursday might be the tier 3 reveal. When we had, so let me give you an example, right? When we had Star Saber, right? Star Saber didn't get backed until like, what was it, like 2 days before the whole thing ended? So Star Saber didn't get backed until then. And because Star Saber didn't get backed until 2 days before, they revealed the tier 3 for Star Saber early to kind of like boost the sales. Deathsaurus got backed before it ended, way before it ended. So because Deathsaurus got backed way before it ended, there was no incentive really to go, hey guys, we have a tier 3, check it out. They saved it for after the fact. Same thing here. This thing got backed way before, even way before than Deathsaurus did. This thing got backed like a week into it or something almost. So it's something where I think to them, they're like, look, it's already backed. We'll just wait for a proper day, like the Thursday coming up, to reveal whatever that tier 3 item will be. I'm sure there will be something. I mean, it's something where, look, what 16,000 was the first tier, 19,000 was the second. So that means it goes in, segmentations of 3,000. So the next would have been after that would have been, 2,200. It's going to be 22,000. So we're past 22,000. And then the fourth one would have been how much? 26,000. We're past 26,000. So if anything, there should have been a tier 4 if we go by that kind of mentality. So I'm pretty sure there's something. At that much extra, there should be something. There should be. That's what I think. Patrick Brown, you think there really won't be any other bonuses? Like I said, I think there's going to be a tier 3. I don't know what it's going to be. In all honesty, it'd be cool if it was like an Ichon little mini transforming figure or something, but we'll see what happens with that. Joseph Ritter with the $5 super chat. Do you think cost is the issue on why Devastator might be smaller than is this time than to the Combiner Wars one, which was a Titan class? Could we see a larger HasLab version? Hot Rod is up. Oh, we will see in a moment, Joseph. We will see. We will see. When it comes to that Devastator that we got, I mean, it has deluxes for arms. It has Voyagers for legs. I imagine it's going to be smaller than the Titan class. It's not going to be super small. I'm thinking it's going to be something that's in that same vein of what we got with with all the others, like what we got with Menasor. I think they're going to try to keep a consistency with that. That's at least what I think. I think whatever we see with Superion is going to be a strong reflection of that. Even when you take your masterpiece MPG train bots and you put them next to Menasor, there's similarities there. There's a lot of similarities in sizing. So I think that there's a new standardized size that's going on right now with Hasbro when it comes to combiners. And if you have a Titan class Devastator, hold on to it because I think that's how it's going to go. That's how it's going to go. But anyways, we'll stay tuned more for this. I'm pretty sure Thursday we'll get some kind of update now that the dust has settled in a lot of ways. But again, let this be a warning. Let this be a warning that you wanted this. They said, "Hey, let's see how high they jump." And they jumped very high. So, guess what? The bar is going to be set a little higher now, both in choice of character and dare I say choice of price. So, as always, capitalism gonna capital, and we all have to pay for it in some way or another. Next up, let's talk about some sponsors. We'll go with Symbiote Studios because we got a reveal today. We have a plush reveal that is happening today. Of course, we already talked about the Ultra Magnus. We already talked about the Winter Wonder kits, and we all got all the rest too. But who's our new reveal today, people? Let's see. got Hot Rod. You probably knew it was coming. Maybe this is why I'm wearing this today. So Hot Rod is going to be the next plush. Stay tuned for that. We're going to have more pictures and updates and everything. I believe the pre-orders are up right now on Symbiote Studios as of the playing of this video. So go check that out on symbiotestudios.com and go pick up your Hot Rod plush. If you don't pick it up from there, I will probably be having plenty of those at San Diego Comic-Con when I'm at the booth that weekend. So we will see. James Hopkins, you don't already have this on your desk, Proto. It is in the mail right now. Welcome to slow Canadian shipping. It is what it is. All the others are, they're all back there. But Hot Rod, no, don't worry. Hot Rod will join Slag and Catnip Bravo there when the time comes. He will be on there. But so check that out. That's on symbiotestudios.com right now. Go pick that up along with the Ultra Magnus and the others. And there's more to come. There is more to come. There's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive item and a whole bunch of other stuff. Stay tuned for Symbiote Studios for more. And of course, Aaron Archer. We got the latest episode of Aaron Archer that'll be coming soon. But for now, watch the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer and we talk about Tidal Wave. Get some Tidal Wave action on. Do you think Tidal Wave will be turned into High Tide? A lot of people were asking me that since my last segment. We will see. We will see. But go check it out, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Good segment. We didn't have a Friday segment with Aaron due to personal stuff in his life currently, but he will be back. So stay tuned for that. We will have a new segment coming very, very soon. And of course, pick up the Toy Armada. Awesome book, The Art of Transforming Robots, Volume 2, Color Edition. Check that out again on the Toy Armada's store, which is archermonster.com/shop. Get a whole bunch of cool stuff there. And there wasn't an update last week because, again, Aaron was busy, but go check out all the beautiful paintings on archermonster.com/shop and go get yourself an original piece of Transformer history of these instruction Posca paintings of all these awesome characters and more. Go through the archive. There is a ton of them to pick from. One of a kind. You own it. It's the only person that owns it is you. Check it out, yo. And that's it more or less for the news and everything else and reveals. I did want to cover one thing. So a few things first, because I know people are going to want me to talk. Number one, stuff that I got this week. Little things I got. The only thing that was really cool that I picked up this week, I got this vintage. I believe this is a 1994 Batman Ripcord bat cycle, if you will. Picked this up for $1. That was really nice. I don't know, Aaron, if that's from your era. Probably a little early, but very cool. Dig that one. I'm very disappointed. I want to go on my cardboard table for a cardboard box for a second. Very disappointed in Heritage Auctions. Heritage Auctions, I've always kind of had a love-hate relationship with them because they get some really cool stuff once in a while in terms of animation cells and everything that interest me. And I've been part of their mail order list catalogs for years when it comes to sports cards. I'm not a big grading guy. I'm not really big on grading, but because I've always feel grading is more just for people who want to invest and make money. It's not really the love of it. But they recently sent me 2 days ago um this in the mail. Hey guys, Akira Toriyama just died. Do you want to invest in Dragon Ball animation cells? What a bunch of effing scumbags, man. Akira passes away, and this is what they literally send out ASAP. They got to get it out there. Hey guys, you got to speculate on Dragon Ball stuff now. The creator's dead. So, Heritage Auctions, man, you guys are. I mean, I know you guys already do pretty scummy stuff to begin with Wada Games and ruining the game industry and backdoor stuff. And the guy allegedly, who runs Heritage Auctions was actually kicked out of the coin community because of all kinds of insider trading and everything. Allegedly. Just going to say that for legal reasons, but allegedly. But man, that's not cool. That's not cool, man. Like taking advantage of Akira-san's passing and trying to make money off of that. That's just disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. Like, no joke, guys. I'll cover my address, but Hope my address gets covered everywhere. There we go. Like this was literally sent to me. Look at the post date on that. That was literally sent to me 2 days ago. That's crazy. They rushed this out right away. Get yourself some animation cells and everything. I didn't even open it. I was just like, ugh, ugh, disgusting, disgusting. So ridiculously low. And that's supposed to be like, we're here for the collectors. We're here to get you those collectible items and take advantage of everything. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So there's that. And the only other thing I want to talk about is everyone wants to know what's happening with this guy here because that seems to be the conversation that's been happening recently. I don't know why. Um I felt like I was the only Street Sharks fan in the world. Fun fact, that big thing of Vin Diesel being in a Street Sharks Toy Fair thing, I actually broke that news because I was going through some old Toy Fair footage looking for old Transformer stuff, and when they had the Street Sharks segment, I was like watching it, and I was like, wait a minute, is that Vin Diesel with the hand sharks? So yeah, Street Sharks is making a return. Mattel is doing it in the same style of the He-Man. Oh, there goes my camera there. In the He-Man Origins line. And so they're pretty much take the old figure and then update it with articulation. So they're taking the old Street Sharks figures and pretty much giving them articulation. The old Street I should have brought some of them down, but the old Street Sharks figure, usually they were more of an action feature kind of toy that would have, maybe if it had articulation, it was mostly due to part of the action feature. They all had like a waist swivel because of the shark skin to the pants, and then they'd have an action feature, a punch or a slam or a jab or something. And now they're bringing them back, and they're asking $25 each. Americans, so that's going to be probably about, I'm going to take a shot in the dark. They're going to be like $35, $40 Canadian. They are going to be Walmart retail, which I personally question if that's going to work out. I don't know if these are going to sell well. I mean, I love Street Sharks, but does Street Sharks have enough of an equity and nostalgia with people that there's people that are going to go out and buy these at $30 a pop from Walmart? I don't think so. I really don't. I really, really don't. So, I mean, I'm excited about it, but I've always been able to separate what I like from what makes sense from a business standpoint. And while I love Street Sharks and it's cool that there's a revival for me, I don't know if that's a good idea for mass retail. So these are going to be available they're going to be available at Walmart, and again, $25 USD, probably 35 to 40 Canadian. And they're for somebody. It's for me, but who else? I don't know. What I found hilarious, and again, I don't want to throw shade at people, but all the local, like the big toy guys in the toy YouTube community, the Pixel Dans, the Andre the Black Nerd, and I'm not throwing shade at these guys, but I did find it hilarious how they were like, "Oh, I'm excited about this. I've never owned any of them and never played with them." And it was very interesting to see genuine excitement, but yet no engagement with it whatsoever up until that very moment. Now, obviously, there's the behind the scenes corporate side of it where they get sent photos and they're told, hey, be excited about this for us. We'll send you free product. I get that. I totally get it. But it does show the transparency of how so little people care about Street Sharks. I cared about it because one of my things that I love with toy collecting is I love weird 90s toy lines. Botsmaster, King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, Street Sharks, Biker Mice from Mars, Cowboys and Moo Mesa. I know I'm forgetting stuff. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Mighty Ducks. Remember the Mighty Ducks toy line based off of the Disney afternoon cartoon? Shadow Raiders, aka War Planets. I know I'm forgetting stuff. But I mean, just that's 8 right there. 8 wacky 90s lines, Skeleton Warriors I could probably throw on there. Bucky O'Hare, you know. There's so many of those. I love collecting weird short run 90s toy lines. You know, Mighty Max is another, but that wasn't really short run. That lasted quite a few years. Um, I always keep my Skull Dungeon nearby. Love it so much. Um, but again, just because I like it doesn't mean that it makes sense to bring it back. I mean, I think if they brought back Mighty Max, probably wouldn't do very well. The toy market is so different today that you have to, like, the only way something like Street Sharks could do well today is you need a cartoon with it. You need something that's an advertising tool to go along with it. Street Sharks, when it first came out, it was released by Streetwise Entertainment. That was literally the name of the company. It wasn't Mattel that owned it. It was Streetwise. They put it out. They had a cartoon. They had trading cards. They had, what else did they do? They did all kinds of merchandising, like shampoo bottles and rings and all kinds of things. Actually, if I remember correctly, me and Aaron did a TFCon together, and I bought a Street Sharks shampoo bottle that weekend. That was years ago. That was like 2016 or 17 or something, you know? So it's something. All of us are getting Street Sharks tattoo. Well, I'm getting Ripster then. I call Ripster. Um, SWAT Cats, that's another great one. Captain Power. I love Captain Power. I have quite a few Captain Power toys. I recently picked up a better condition Sauron recently because my old one never had the wings. Um, I had the old gun that would interface with the VHS tapes. You know, there's so many great 90s toy lines. I'm leaving out so many now they're all coming back to me. Reboot I collect, you know, like uh, what do you call it? Food Fighters, you know, Barnyard Commandos. Like so many. So many. But everything I just listed, all of those should not come back unless there's some kind of game plan, and it doesn't really look like there was a game plan for Street Sharks. Mattel tried to last year. If anyone forget, people forget, Mattel did Mattel Creations last year of Street Sharks. They did these like 3 different Street Sharks figures. They were supposed to be like planned ideas that never happened, and then they quickly took it down because no one cared. And like only a few people got it, and that was it. And they were ridiculously expensive, and it didn't find anything. But they did it because they had to keep a trademark. They had to keep the trademark going. And guess what? Trademark's up. You got to keep it going. And they kept that Street Shark trademark alive because about like 8 years ago, they did something with the Muscles line, where the Muscles line through Super 7 licensed Street Sharks temporarily and did some Street Sharks characters. So that kept it alive. And then they did the Mattel Creations, and then that kept it alive. And now they're doing this. You know, so crash test dummies. Oh my goodness. I would love to get more crash test dummies. I have so few of them. I want to get Hubcat. And what was the name of the dog? It was Hubcat was the name of the cat. And I remember they had a lot of names that crossed with Transformer names, but it was done by Tyco that did the crash test dummies toys. They were all great. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. I have the original Cadillacs and Dinosaurs Cadillac mint in box. I bought it for $20 Canadian from a show in Toronto. I was so happy. That was like the big find of the weekend. Streaks, dibs on Streaks. That's the rollerblade one. No one wants Moby Licks with his big old tongue and jab and what was it? Killamari. All the classics. And but again, I get it. I get it from a business standpoint. They need to keep trademarks, but I don't know who it's for. I really don't. And it's something where if you are interested, but maybe you're like on the fence, I think they're going to go on clearance. I really do. Just like how a lot of the He-Man stuff went on clearance. I mean, Champ Clamps and a lot of that Origin stuff and the bigger price points went on clearance. A lot of He-Man stuff ended up in even Dollarama. So David Cabal, do please do a 90s tour, 90s toy tour program. That would be in the manga room. You know what's interesting about the manga room though? It's so far away from my internet box because I once tried to do a I was thinking of doing a segment from the manga room, like we do like this, but we do it in the manga room. And I noticed that the internet connection was so bad. I don't want to say my house is huge. It's a nice sized house, but it's so far away from my internet box that I worry that maybe the connection might not be that great. Oh, Sky Surfer Strike Force. I only have one figure of that. Those never came out in Montreal, but when I went to Plattsburgh at KB Toys, they had Sky Surfer Strike Force, so I got Sore Loser. It's the only one I have. I'd love to get Sliced Ice and some of the other ones, but they're pretty tough to find, like 100% complete, you know? Billy B, trademarks. If Hasbro owns GoBots, why not see more GoBots inspired Transformers? Because they just don't want to do it. They rather like the way that I see it is you only have so many slots, right? So you go, okay, here's our next legacy. Like let's say whatever the next legacy thing is, right? Like we have Generations Prime as it's called, but it's Generations Prime. So you only have four waves, and four waves could only have four deluxes per wave, and they only have so much budget, so they always, because now we see package refreshes every wave, so they always fill it with one filler character. So there's only so much slots and there's only so many characters you could do. And a lot of times when they do those characters, they also look at what trademarks are expiring, so they need to do those. And then that's when, ooh, there's an opportunity. Oh, hey, we have some free space. Maybe we could do a GoBots, Like it, and again, this only happened why? Store exclusive, sold in product, Walmart. Now you could be a little funky. Isn't it funny that all the really weird stuff we got were from store exclusives because they could take a risk with that kind of stuff. It's outside of their general parameter. So it's something where, to me, you know, it'd be cool to see more GoBots, but there's so much stuff on the plate that it's like, hey, let's do a leader one. And then they go, yeah, that'd be great, but we haven't done a Rampage figure in a while. And it's like, okay, we don't want to lose one of our Predaking pieces or a Beast Wars character. So that's where that kind of takes precedent over a GoBot, which is a IP that Hasbro didn't even really give birth to. That was a Tonka IP that Hasbro bought in 93 afterwards when the merger, I think it was 92 or 93 when the Tonka merger happened. And with not Milton Bradley, something else too. There was two things. Oh, Kenner, I think, was part of it also. But when that merger happened, and so there's not a lot of like the guys in Transformers' crew right now, Mark and Evan, they love GoBots from a nostalgia standpoint, but the prestige and history of it isn't a Hasbro thing. So certain characters get done because, hey, Crasher, we make a toy of her because we need a female character to fill a wave, so that happens. But to get a scooter or something, would they want to take the time to fill a gap and make a scooter toy that potentially might not sell well when they could be filling it with a character that they need to fit because a trademark is going up? So it kind of has that kind of situation, unfortunately. Uh, James Hopkins, Exo Squad, Michael Butcher. Yeah, seriously, Exo Squad's another really good one. Another really good one. Great freaking toys. James Hopkins, I would love to see a leader one in Psykill like image I see a few weeks ago. Like, again, right now, if you're someone who loves GoBots, you look at the action toy stuff. And a lot of that stuff's pretty cheap now because it came and went and no one bought it, unfortunately. And it looks like that line might be discontinued, unfortunately. So you have to go with action toys. And, like Brainstorm just said, most of those designs are owned by Bandai because that's Machine Robo. I'm not gonna reach for the book, but if you're part of the Transformers Slag podcast Discord through a Patreon, you could download the GoBots slash Machine Robo guidebook, which covers everything, and it's all Bandai. So you have to also tiptoe. You can't do 100%. Crasher's design, which is that Le Mans kind of Porsche vehicle. You have to make something that, it's a Mirage repaint that channels the coloring of it. So you're never going to get true GoBots from Hasbro unless they work out something with Bandai, which, in all honesty, I don't see that happening anytime soon. I really don't. Bandai is doing just fine in Japan. They bailed out of the US market, but they're doing just fine in Japan, and they don't really need to make any kind of dealings with rival toy companies. Especially, like, man, think about it. If they do GoBot stuff here in America, What would Takara do? Would Takara be producing that product over there in Bandai? Like it's crazy to even think about it. Never owned any humanoid toys, unfortunately. They were too big and expensive. I know a friend of mine, Rob, he has a whole bunch of them though. Podvosky, I think that's your first time super chatting, Podvosky. Thank you for the super chat. Podvosky with the $5 super chat. Is there any risk of store exclusives going away? I get a vibe that Target and Walmart feel like they're getting burned on shelf warmers. No. Um, they won't go away. Stores like having store exclusives because the incentive for them is it gets you in their store. And I promise you, if you say otherwise, then you're either an outlier or you're some kind of minority. But 99% of people who go and they buy store exclusives, they make a second purchase in that Walmart. And they know that in that from their perspective, because these guys they work with numbers. They look at, oh, hey, this person that went and bought this store exclusive that we have also bought a chocolate bar in the impulse aisle on the way out. Or this guy who bought a store exclusive, he left and he bought a t-shirt. There's a co-sale that happens there. And from their perspective, if they didn't have those Velocitron toys, maybe they wouldn't have been a sale, and they're confident enough to keep going. Look, Velocitron Speedia 500 didn't do well. They still, from our perspective of how much clearance happened, but yet they went forward with the Toxitron collection. Toxitron collection did but yet they still went forward with the next one here that we're going to be getting, with the Star Raiders. And same thing with Amazon. Amazon does the exclusives. They constantly do well for them. Some of them don't do well. Some of them do well. Some stuff sold out from the recent, Doom and Destruction, 2 packs. But the Windsweeper one with Breakdown still isn't sold out yet. So and I get a feeling that one probably is going to go on sale, which makes me kind of happy because I could get it cheap. But um, Action Toys is out and there's no Triple Jim. Yeah, I wanted that Triple Jim too. You're just gonna have to wait. Someone will do a good Triple Jim sooner or later, which is a Machine Robo character for people who are confused. Brainstorm 2002 and also Hasbro stole Power Rangers from Bandai. I wouldn't say stole. It's just they got the IP and now they have to kind of work outside the Sentai bubble and the complexity of that. So, um, Sarah with the 50 pesos. So Optimal Optimus will be leader for his simplistic transformation or commander because Hasbro needs money. I want a reissue of Bakon Strika. Well, the problem with the Bakon stuff is the head sculpts were done by a company called Boss Fight Studios. And so all the unique head sculpts that were done with Bakon exclusives, you will probably never see as Hasbro retail product unless those head sculpts already previously existed on the sprue of the product. Otherwise, the head sculpts were always done uniquely for Bakon back in the day. So that Bakon Strika, don't get your hopes up, unfortunately. You'll get a new Bakon. You'll get a new Strika. She'll be awesome, probably. Because again, the one good thing about this new crew is it's like we always need to have a female character. We always need, so that means Strika. It's only a matter of time now. Maybe she'll be a really cool, like big beefy Voyager figure, and then they'll do a repaint into Blast Charge. If they want to go into the deep cuts of that, maybe make it a Generation Selects or something, or maybe a multi-pack. And then, they'll get some mileage out of that. And again, they do such a great job with the retooling today that there's probably stuff we're not even thinking about that could be made with a Strika mold that could be turned into other characters. I can imagine like you can barely see them off camera, but there's a few big wheel kind of like 4x4 characters and Transformers that could probably be retooled into Strike or vice versa. So there's a lot of cleverness in that company, so I'm pretty sure they could figure something out. Mikey and Louie, if you're hunting down 5 Walmart stores for one figure and they only get our impulse buy, the first store, but they usually do get it. Yeah, of course. That's what happens. The big reasoning for them to get store exclusives is the secondary buy that you're going to make that it isn't related to the product that they purchased. You're going to go in and buy that exclusive Transformer, but you're going to buy something else too. And to them, if they sell a chocolate bar to you for $1.50 in the impulse aisle, that costs them, no joke, probably like 4 cents. That's a win. That's a win. They made the money on the figure and then they made the money on the chocolate bar. And you're just one example of thousands of examples across thousands of store exclusives, not just Transformers, but they're Marvel store exclusives, they're Transformers store exclusives, they're Star Wars store exclusives, even if they get the odd store exclusive with other Mattel products. That's the whole point of the store exclusive, is to get people in there. That era of store exclusives, it really first started in like the mid 90s with the success of Toy Biz with their X-Men Marvel stuff, and then KB Toys would try to get store exclusives, and then Walmart started to get store exclusives. And I know even Aaron Archer, one of his first gigs with Batman was store exclusives with Batman Forever stuff, which was repaints for, I believe it was Target. Was it Target, Aaron? I think it was Target stuff, with Batman Forever. So because there's an incentive, hey, you get these exclusive colorings or these exclusive repaints or these exclusive things. And then while you're here with mom, at least back in the 90s, while you're here with mom, maybe she's going to want to pick up something for herself. She's already here. And that's a big reason why Walmart really made that lean into having groceries and stuff like that, which for the longest time, Walmart didn't have groceries. That's something that they started really in the turn of the century. Around, I want to say around like 2004, 2005, Walmart really started to do the super centers and have the groceries, because they knew if you're going in to buy some of that exclusive product or video games, if you could get them to do all their grocery shopping at the same time too, it's a win. And I'm lucky because I live in a city where everything is so close together, where I can hit a Walmart, a True, a Toys R Us, my grocery store, a Best Buy, and a whole bunch of stuff all in walking distance of each other. But when you go to some places in the United States where everything is so spaced out, and every time you have to get into a car to get to your next thing, you go to Walmart and then, to go to my supermarket, I got to get into my car and then go to this place. And then to get my electronics, I got to get into my car and go to this place. If it's all under one roof, they take advantage of people's inherent laziness and their inability to kind of like, oh, maybe I could save money if I go here and there, but the convenience is worth more than their time. So, uh, where am I at here? Thrilling 30 Roadbuster has some pretty big tires. Yeah, there's a few. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff we're not even thinking about that could be turned from a Strika. There's probably tons of stuff. Tons of stuff. Ron Diaz been saying it for a year now. I'm happy Hasbro is having nonfiction characters, bounty hunters, merc, gun runners, and new Lockdown looks great. Well, it's because the market has shifted. It used to be back in the day, you need to have a show to kind of produce a lot of product. I mean, you have to look no different than like that Aaron Archer era, if you will. And you had like for every Universe 1.0 line, which was the weird stuff, you would have to have a TV show that would have Energon. And then here's Robot Masters with the weird stuff, or Titaniums or Beast Wars 10th anniversary, but here's Cybertron. Here's and more Titaniums, the weird stuff, but then here's animated that gives you the TV show. What we have today now is, now you don't need to have a TV show because they know that all of these characters are being bought by collectors, and you could take those risks. You can make a Crasher figure through Speedia 500, and the marketed demographic, which is, these guys in their like 30s to 40s to 50s, aka this ugly face, they're going to buy it because they don't need to watch a TV show to be invested and want to buy it. They've been invested for 20, 30 years. So, and it's great. That means they don't have to get a partnership with an animation studio. They don't have to make a cartoon. They don't have to try to get, space on television and all that stuff and all the marketing and everything. Yeah, there's positives too, because then you could license out the product to other companies who want to do books and, t-shirts and everything. But sometimes it's just so much easier that it's like, wait, I can make a lockdown figure and I don't need to have a show that's marketing that lockdown figure. People will just buy it because of feelings that they had 20 years ago or 10 years ago. That's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty much how the He-Man toy line survives right now, or a certain thing that's coming to the shelves soon. There's not going to be a new TV show. There's not going to be a new comic book. There's not going to be a new video game. There never was a video game. There's not going to be a new trading card line or a TCG or something. They're basing it solely based on people who have vague memories of it, if they even did buy it back then, or if they even watched the cartoon, you know? So it's a different world we live in. It's a very different world we live in today, unfortunately. And there's some good parts to it, but I almost feel it's like it's the monkey's paw. It's that caveat that exists where we're getting some really cool stuff, but it's at the cost of some of the other things that we really enjoyed, which was like, I mean, like, I hate to say it, like, fictionally right now, outside of comic books, Transformers is in a weird place. Like, the shows aren't doing what they need to do, and the movies aren't doing what they need to do. And what I mean by that is, if you love Earthspark, hey, that's great for you. If you love Rise of the Beast, I know I did. That's great for you. But I'm saying that the Rise of the Beast and Earthspark aren't moving toys, and because they aren't moving toys, they aren't doing what they're intended for. And I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record with the mistakes they made with bots, but that's a whole other conversation. So it's right now there's so much things that they rather do that are so much easier, you know? Let me see if I catch any of your YouTube member questions, you beautiful green names. Link CW. So y'all know my back is screwed up because of my job. I can no longer keep up with work. They want done buying so anything. Now I'm done. Well, hey, Link CW, man, always take care of your health first, my friend. I always say take care of your health and take care of your family and everything before your hobby. Your hobby will always be around. Like if you don't buy these guys now, don't worry, you'll get your opportunity 10 years from now. I'm still buying Transformer product. Like look, like even stuff that isn't Transformers. Like I bought this Batman toy from 1993 recently. Like you could always find another opportunity later. Take care of yourself first because you can't buy your health, and health is more important. Health is way more important. We got a gold super chat from Mick Tankies. That's a cool name. Mick Tankies says, I got my copy of Aaron's book the other day. Very happy with it. With the Lugnut sketch. Very nice. I was about to ask, which sketch did you get? A Lugnut sketch. Very cool. Very, very cool. You should post that online. I'd love to see that. I always love looking at Aaron's sketches because when he does them at the con, I'm able to watch it in real time when I'm sitting next to him. But I always like to see like the final products. That's really cool. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed the book. There's another one coming. There's another one coming soon. Stay tuned for that. I don't want to spoil it. I'll leave that to Aaron to, to reveal all that stuff, but there's another one coming. Mayoral Fabrication with the $2 super chat. Onyx Prime out of Commander Skylinks mold for 2016. You know what? I'm going to say it, Mayoral. Like, I am surprised how little they did with that Skylinks mold. Like, the only thing that we got from it with that Commander class was at most they did a re-release for China that had like that special, like it came with like a surface of the moon. They did like some Chinese exclusive reissue, so that was technically like a second use of the mold. But man, like they did nothing with that. They really did. And I think that they probably realized they made a little bit of a mistake. They were just kind of like, man, we made a commander class that like even if you were trying to be creative, there's only so much you could do with it. And they should have learned their lesson the first time because when they did the Skylinks with Combiner Wars, look what they had to do with that. They did that one, Dino King, not Dino King, Lio Kaiser, Desaris repaint, which was terrible. Terrible. I worked on that set. It was terrible. um, I wrote the copy on that. Um, but that was a terrible set because they didn't know what to do with that mold. What do you do with that damn mold? There's nothing you could do with it, unfortunately. And then they made it a commander class, which was like, phew. And they released it during right in not that they planned for it, but during the heart of the big V. So that was too rough for them. Mikey and Louie, is it too crazy to think one day they will do a reboot of G1 or Beast Wars animated? You know what? I mean, I look at what they're doing with the new X-Men cartoon, X-Men 97. I think that if they ever want to revisit stuff for nostalgia, they're going to do it cheaply. Because think about it, right? If they like redo Like, let's say they redo G1, right? Then obviously, are they going to do toys along with it? If they're going to do a TV show, they have to do toys with it. So then they're going to do a whole bunch of like G1 ish kind of toys or Beast Wars ish kind of toys. I personally feel if they do a new Transformer series, you have to make something new. You have to do some new ideas, some new silhouettes. You can't keep buying the same characters over and over, especially when it's one thing if you want to market to a new demographic. That's the smart thing to do. Get new kids, get a new audience, but you still want to get a little bit of that money from the older collectors who are completists. And if you're making them buy yet again another Optimus that has the chest like this and turns into a flat nose truck, it's going to be the same old, same old. You got to reinvent the wheel a little bit. I know you're scared. Oh, I don't want to have a sound wave that doesn't have something that pops out of his chest. That's cool. But then try to do something different then. Do the Derek Wyatt route where it's like, well, it's a van then, and it still has a laser beak or a rat bat, but you could do it different where it turns into a guitar. Try to be different. Try to make something that's unique. That way the collectors could at least go, well, at least it's different so I don't feel like I'm buying the same product and it's new. And then hopefully it's also charming enough that the younger demo actually wants to engage with it too, which is unfortunately something I always worry about. I would love to get the numbers from like Netflix and see and they don't even know. Like they don't even know like if it's kids watching or if it's adults watching. But I'd love to know what are the most popular Netflix streamed kid shows with kids. And yeah, you're going to hear stuff like Bluey and you're going to hear stuff like Peppa Pig and the stuff that's aimed at the preschool demo because kids get plunked in front of it by their parents and the parents turn it on. And then the kids engage with it because the parents pretty much, I don't want to say force them, but we didn't watch Sesame Street. Sesame Street was put in front of us and then we fell in love with it because our parents did. We didn't actively hunt it out. And it's kind of the same thing here where I feel that in the case of Transformers, is there kids that are actively searching out Transformers, or is their parents plunking them in front of it going, huh? Eh? And they go, huh, Among Us, please. You know? Like then they move on. So that's where it kind of becomes difficult. Abraham with the $5 super chat. Do you think Hasbro would ever make a set of non-transforming characters like Humans, Nightbird, Spike as a con exclusive or something? They've tried in the past. They did the Humans from Only Human with Bakhan. They didn't sell well. They tried to do non-transforming stuff of popular characters with the RED line. Yeah, that didn't sell well. That whole wave is at Ross now, a lot of it. That first two waves, I think. So if you do stuff like Nightbird, you got to make it a transforming figure, put it as a Generation Selects, like they did multiple times. First with Legends, then Generation Selects, then a Masterpiece. Autobot Spike. Again, you have to ask yourself, like, yes, it'd be cool. Like for me, yeah, hey, we get an Autobot Spike figure. That's awesome. But who wants it? Who wants it? And then I want you to tell me the population of who wants it. And does it make sense? How many people want Autobot Spike? Okay, hardcore Transformer fans, remember that season 1 episode of, excuse me, season two, episode 1 episode. Autobot Spike, episode 1 of season 2. Only appeared once, just in that, nothing else. How many people remember that? How many people have nostalgia for that? How many people want to buy that? Is the population big enough for that? Do kids care? No, they don't. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And if it's a con exclusive, yeah, that's how you get away with that stuff. You have to make it a con exclusive because then it's the con's problem afterwards. Then they could worry about it, you know? But otherwise it's a whole other story. Ashnud, yep, my son has zero interest in this stuff. Yep, different. Look, I experienced it myself. My father loves die-cast cars. My father loves that, like his stuff. I didn't care about that stuff. My father loves vinyl records and die-cast cars. That's not my world. I grew up with different stuff. And then, I'm pretty sure when my dad was a kid, his father probably liked fishing and stickball and, all that pre-World War One stuff. And my dad didn't engage with that. He loved his Beatles and his Rolling Stones. And, every era, every generation, they have their thing. And it's very hard to superimpose your thing onto their thing. Once in a while, there's some generational stuff. Kids who grew up on G1 might be able to get their kids. Like if you were a 5-year-old during Generation 1, like in 1984, and then you had kids by the time you were like 20, then maybe you could squeeze in some Unicron trilogy on them when they turn 5. Yeah, just squeeze it in. But there's so few of that, you know? There's so few of that exist. It's that around that same time of the Unicron trilogy was already the beginning of the video game boom. By the time Unicron trilogy came out, you had Xbox, you had PlayStation, you had Nintendo, you had all the great handheld systems. You lost them to the video game market. And I can't blame them because I'm a kid of the 80s that grew up with action figures and the birth of the Nintendo world. And both of those things fighting amongst each other, sometimes working in symbiosis, where, hey, great Ninja Turtle toys and great Ninja Turtle video games that could commingle and do their thing. But in general, it's very tough to have those two worlds do well. Among Us does insanely well, and then a company could come in and license Among Us toys and then potentially make some kind of money from the hotness of it. But let me ask you this, if you go to Walmart right now, or if you go to Target right now, do you see Among Us toys anymore? No, you don't. They're all gone. That hype train has come and left. So did you really build this long, amazing brand, or was it just a flash in the pan? Everyone was memeing on it. It was huge, and then it was gone. Even Fortnite, in a small way, is kind of on its way out. And then there's going to be the next big thing of whatever that is. Some things they float by. Okay, Minecraft is popular, Roblox is popular, and the toys related to it, exist in the background as a gift for a kid. But most kids rather be playing Minecraft than playing with Minecraft toys. They rather be playing Roblox than playing with a Roblox toy. They'd rather get a Roblox gift card from Walmart. That's the reality, you know? People always seem to bring up Megatron's Purple Griffin. Again, who would be buying that? Who would be buying that? It would be cool to us. Again, us hardcore fans might be attracted to that, but who would be buying that? All like if you took every hardcore Transformer fan that isn't sticker sensitive to buying a Commander class Purple Griffin Megatron, then what? After that, who's buying it? If people weren't buying Rodimus, if people weren't buying Menasor, both of those ended up on clearance at different times. Not Menasor, Motormaster. They both ended up at clearance at different times, and those are A tier characters, or at least B tier characters. Who's buying Purple Griffin Megatron? It's a bad idea, and you'd be fired, you know? They're making an Among Us cartoon. Well, there you go. So you'll have an Among Us cartoon, and then that might breathe some life into doing some more licensed stuff. Maybe you'll go to Hot Topic and they'll have some Among Us stuff. It's tough. You have to today to engage with the younger demo today when you're fighting against screens. When you're fighting against this is the toughest thing to beat. You got to beat this thing. And the problem is this thing is here. It's there with them. It's next to their bed when they're sleeping. It's with them when they go out of the house. It's with them when they go to their friend's house. You got to beat this. And that's very hard because the action figures are only in the action figure aisle and when a commercial is played in front of their face. So you got to catch them here. And that's why that era is shifting. Where are we at here? Joseph Ritter with the gold super chat of $10. Thank you, Joseph Ritter. Wayne and Garth voice. Filch and Bot. She makes well, that would be Garth's voice. Filch and Birdbots. She makes me feel kind of funny. He gets my absolutely terrible Dana Carvey impression. No, I like that they made a Filch figure, and I think they're going to make more. I think they'll take that Skywarp Battle Across Time 2-pack, which has that unique head sculpt, and they'll do some of her brethren for sure. I think we're going to see more of that. But I think Filch is a great start to more. Make use of that mold and make use of that mold much more. Mark Morales with the $5 super chat. You think if Power of the Prime Starscream was in Combiner Wars, we would have had a proper Lyozak for a Lyo Kaiser set? You think so? That's what I would have thought too. Still bothers me to this very day. That was the John Warden era. and I'm not trying to knock John. I like John, but John was a very G1 guy. And when I mean a very G1 guy, I mean 84, 85, 86. That's his era. That's good in the sense that look at all those combiners and headmasters we got out of it. Mind you, that would be 87, but like we got a lot of great G1 stuff out of the John Warden era. But at the same time, you wouldn't really expect Beast Wars from John's era. You wouldn't really expect G1 Japan. If HasLab existed during the John Warden era, which it technically did in a small sense, what a surprise we get stuff like Unicron. And then what happens after the John Warden era is over? We get and when I say G1, I understand Victory is technically G1 Japan, but I mean stuff that's outside of the G1 America. 84, 85. The standard Transformer fan that's a G1er is a American 84, 85, 86 and lightly 87 collector. And they don't really go outside of that bubble. You don't really you could argue that robots and robot enhanced design RED product were Action Masters. Nobody bought it. When we had Pretenders through Power of the Primes with the decoy armors, nobody bought them. They sold ridiculously poorly, which is a shame because I loved them and I bought all of them, but they didn't do well. So it's 84, 85, 86, 84, 85, 86. It's always that. Brainstorm 2002. I'm still wanting a G2 Dreadwing and Smokescreen. If we get tooling that is similar to that, we've had them in the past. They did that. What was that? Those two movie molds that they then did a G2 Smokescreen and Dreadwing as Japanese repaints. Every so often you get an homage to them when there's a tooling that kind of works with it. So I think it was Sunstorm or Sunspot was the Smokescreen, and God, what was the name of the other one? Making me have to go through the archives of the brain here. What was the other one called? I know it was repainted into two things before that, but Sunspot was the name of the smaller one. I got a Sunstorm homage, like Sunstorm Junior. Be a good photo. Take the Sunspot and put it with a Sunstorm. When are we getting Primus? At least a Titan class. I think we're gonna get a Primus sooner or later. 40th anniversary would be a good time, in my opinion. We will see. That's not a trademark they have to worry about, actually, because they lost it during Age of Extinction, and then they did the Primus repaint, and they just called it Cybertron. So part of me feels that they might not even try to get the Primus trademark. They'll just call it Cybertron again. Mind Wipe, thank you. It was called Mind Wipe. That is correct. Yeah. But yeah, so they did the repaint of that. Mikey and Louie, when are we going to get Marvel Comics, Marvel Comic TF ERA? We got a few, but we want more. Well, those are store exclusives again, 40th anniversary items. It's a matter of they feel that they look. They did Shockwave, they did Grimlock, upper tier crusts characters that are safe bets. You can always sell a Grimlock to a casual fan. That's always the safe bet. Mikey and Louie, more important question from the multiverse. What is for dinner? My wife today made some amazing homemade soup again because I was feeling under the weather. So she cut up some carrots, some celery, fresh chicken with the bone, made real stock from scratch, everything like that. Good home cooking, having that tonight. Super salty, but clears the throat good. Clears the throat really good. And then tomorrow, I'm going to go do some more winter tires for some people. And hopefully I'm going to get me, I don't know, I have a craving for Costco pizza. I don't know why. All this week, I've been having a craving for it. It's been a while. So that's what I'll be having tomorrow. Uh, what was the follow-up question? Brainstorm, sorry. True, but also it wasn't illin. I guess I mean it wasn't cool. Well, I mean, characters like that are heavily reliant on shared molds. Like to make something from the ground up that's going to be, well, you can barely see him in the Robot Masters display. There was Smoke Jumper which was one of the Robot Master. You can barely see him; he's buried in the back there. But that mold, like that design, you know, that big buff Dreadwing, which was BB Max and Smokescreen and Smoke Jumper and Starscream, I think was the name of the Smoke Jumper, and Beast Wars Second. Like so many different names. Smokescreen was the name of the G2 version. It was Megatron and Starscream in the unreleased G2 version. I think it was called ATB Megatron. Um, there's so many different versions of that, but that mold and that design, it's a character that has to be baked in with somebody else. They look at a big stealth bomber kind of character that's buff like that, and you're going to unfortunately have to have a compromise between two characters. It can't 100% be that with that head sculpt and everything, but it can't 100% be someone else. It has to be a thing in between. Look what they did with Transformers Prime Dreadwing and Skyquake, where you look at it and you're like, oh, it's supposed to be these characters from Transformers Prime. But then you look at it again and you go, oh, it's definitely also that UK Skyquake and, Machine Wars Starscream and King Atlas from Beast Wars. You can barely see him. Not Beast Wars, Universe 1.0. So like they do a lot of that now, where some toys, unless if they're really important characters, they get their own tooling. If they're not, there's something baked in. Lizard Sir X brings up, like here, Lizard Sir X command like core class Beast Machines Cheetor. So like Cheetor is a top tier character without question. He gets his own tooling, no question. Where like some other characters, you got to get stuff in the middle. Unfortunately. Um, yeah, I'm still Billy B. I'm still waiting on a machine. I would love a Machine Wars Starscream from that mold because I love Machine Wars. Again, short run, crappy '90s series. That's my jam. Sarah with the 100 Mexican pesos. Thank you with the gold super chat. The '90s series fought for children's attention, which made it more serious, like Batman and Beast Wars. They touched on heavy themes like suicide and and the Red Dragon, and now with topics like pronouns. Well, again, it's the people that are writing cartoons today. I almost feel like they're not even writing it for children anymore. They think they're writing it for children, but the only people that are really watching it is our adults, which is kind of wild when you think about it. It's kind of like writing you're trying to poison a specific person, but in the end you're just poisoning the wrong people this whole time. And the person you're poisoning is the one that's not only immune to that poison, but they're the one that's going to identify it. So the sad truth is it's look, we're in a transitionary phase of media and collectibles and everything. And in my opinion, if I had to predict what the future is going to be, it's going to be more screen-based stuff. Look at guys like me, guys. Some I'm not on television. I'm on your phone. And you could watch me from your car, which some people do. You could watch me from work, which some people do. You could watch me from home, which some people do. You could watch me in your backyard, which some people do. And because of the versatility of the ability to watch me on your device, I'm able to make money doing that and have a business doing that. And the reality is that something like that would have not been able to exist for me 20 years ago. So the world has changed that this is the screen that you have to be on now because this is the screen that people are looking at. And in order for something like Transformers to survive, in my opinion, and this is free stuff for Hasbro to steal, and then you could bring it to your corporate guys and say it was your idea and never say you heard it from Proto Man. That's fine, because that's always how it is, unfortunately. Um, the reality is that you have to do more video games. You got to do more video game stuff. You got to do more mobile game stuff. You got to do stuff that's always on the screen. What they're doing with the live streams is really good because it creates interest again on the screen from the company itself. And then all of those things that I just said that are all based on the screen, you only hope that then the ancillary reaction to that is then they go out and buy a product. Just like how you hope that they watch a commercial and they go, "Oh, I want to buy M&Ms or Skittles." It's the same thing if you put if you like the commercial now is the video game. The commercial now is the mobile game. The commercial now is the live streams, is the YouTubers like me. We are the commercials for that product. Some people might discover Transformers and start enjoying it more watching my podcast and not having an interest before, but then they start enjoying it through that. Those are the new avenues now in order to grow the brand. It's not television anymore. Less people watch TV more than ever. More people don't really watch streaming so much, even though because what's the point of paying 14.99, 20.99 a month for streaming services when if you really know the internet, you really know how to get around, most of that stuff you can watch for free. And some of the best content people watch today is unfortunately short form. Why are you going to pay for a streaming service when you don't have which the modern viewers don't have the attention span for a half-hour cartoon anyways, when they're used to less than 40-second content? And that's the world that we live in where someone could do very well with TikTok. Granted, they don't make a lot of money with it. They have to do outside stuff with TikTok to make money. But TikTok and YouTube Reels and all of that stuff and Instagram Reels and all this short form content has created a whole new generation where it's so much easier just to kind of just do this. Oh, this is funny for 5 seconds. Up swipe. Oh, that's funny. Oh, now it saw that I rested on this one. They're going to give me more of that. I looked at a dog video. That dog video is cute and funny. Be sure to send more dog videos to Protoman's, Instagram reels or whatever it's called. I don't even know what they're called, but that's kind of the way to go about it. So you have to target those markets. You got to put Transformers on the screen in those places and that's why something like again Rise of the Beast didn't do its job, and neither did their Spark, because they're on two screens that don't matter anymore. People don't really, look how well the Marvel movies are doing well right now. And I'm not, and you could, the argument is the movies are crap. I get it, but also people aren't really going to see movies anymore. What's going to be interesting is if that Deadpool Wolverine movie doesn't do well, then that'll be the true signification to me that we're in a different era. Where if Deadpool and Wolverine can't bring people in the movie theaters to be excited, then we're in a new era. Then the screens have changed and we have to switch where we're marketing our product now. Maybe I don't know if TikTok's banned in the US. I don't even have it on my phone. I don't know why anyone would have to. I installed TikTok on like not on my computer, on my I made an account. I did like a couple videos, and then I was like, "This is stupid," and then I got rid of it. I was like, "I'll just stick to Instagram. Why am I on TikTok?" I mean, I've always showed people on my phone. Like, I don't put social media on my phone. This is legit. Like, look, here's my first one. There's nothing there. You got like this, and then there you go. Couple of games, Pokemon Go. There's Instagram because that's the only way to post, and there's Facebook Messenger. I don't even have the Facebook app. You know what I mean? I don't even have the YouTube app. I don't even have the YouTube app. Think about that for a second. Look. That's it. That's it. Nothing. Yeah. I don't even have the YouTube app. Um. Oh, we got another super chat. Hold on a second. I got a message too. 1 second. Yeah. There we go. John Decker with the $10 gold super chat. Do you think they take Override figure and use the engineering for animated lockdown? They mentioned the long hood for a scar. It was the first thing that jumped into my head. Ideal size for him. I think if they do a lockdown, I think it's going to be something that's done from the ground up. Lockdown is one of those alt modes and designs that could be shared across a lot of different characters and then could be built into that. I mean, in all honesty, like Lockdown's a very hot rod kind of design. You know, what I mean that's something you could figure out. If you could make because you don't need to do another G1 hot rod. So you could do a very unique hot rod design that has a removable engine that's a weapon and everything and have fun with that, almost like in a Target Master thing. You don't have to retread this again. It's already been done perfectly. Yes, I keep it nearby because I love that toy. Um, and then you could then do the perfect lockdown. And then afterwards, there's so many other Mustang, you know, muscle car engine kind of characters. You could have fun with a barricade. You could have fun with a whole bunch of other characters. There's what's any of the hot rod patrol if you want to make large versions of them. Some of the spark bots or the fire bots. There's a lot of cool little designs you could do. And I mean, even look, even the Hasbro crew said it. And it's funny, they said it after I said it because I was looking at it and going, I don't think this is animated lockdown. I think this is just a stepping stone to something else. And they even said it themselves. This is more like that Hunt for the Decepticons version. And we'll get a better animated lockdown later. So I think they'll do something from the ground up. That's true to the Derek Wyatt design. Where are we at here? And thank you for the gold super chat, my friend. Thank you very much. Brainstorm 2002. I'm still waiting for a new Windsweeper. Pre-ordered the 2-pack and only want breakdown. Yeah, I will. I will. If you want to sell that Windsweeper to me, I will gladly take that off your hands. Brainstorm, contact me because like all I want is the Windsweeper, and all I want, and the reason why I want the Windsweeper is for extremely shallow because I worked on it reasons. That's it. But I'm totally down for that. I literally have open on my computer. I have the uh, the Amazon listing open, and I keep refreshing it, waiting for it to go on sale because it didn't sell out, and I don't think it's going to sell out. So I feel like that set is going to go on sale at some point. Where are we at here? T-Formers 2002. I'm part of a rare breed who also never downloaded TikTok, much less make an account. It's just not worth. Well, again, it's if you don't enjoy that kind of content, there's no reason to download it. Like if you're a 14-year-old girl, then you got to have TikTok because all the other 14-year-old girls at school do. But if you're like a 35-year-old adult male, whatever TikTok is going to give you, you probably already get through other platforms. Sarah, so any reason why Ultimate Muscle figure in the mic? Oh, um, so on my microphone stand because it's metal, I like putting figures that have magnets on them. So this is my Kiniku Man Nisei, aka Kid Muscle. It uses magnets. And then the other one here is from Microman Magma, which was the second anime series that they put out back in the day. So that's why I put a Kiniku Man there. I love Kiniku Man. I was a huge original Muscle fan back in the day. So I just like them on my mic there. They're cool, too cool. And whenever I get magnet based figures, like the only other one that I have outside of all my other Microman stuff is they have a Mega Man X that has magnets on his foot, but it's too fragile and I don't want to put it on the mic because I'm worried they wouldn't hold. But the Kid Muscle I got it at a garage sale and I was like, oh, that is so cool. So he's kind of chilling up there. I love Kiniku Man. Kiniku Man Nisei. Mike and Louie, we are sure watching that Deadpool movie. Oh, I'm excited about it. I'm intrigued by. I've seen all the Deadpool movies. It's funny. Wolverine is one of my favorite characters. I saw none of the Wolverine movies in theaters. I watched them all at home. But Deadpool is far from my favorite character, and I've seen all the Deadpool movies in theaters. So that says a lot about getting people in the theaters and getting people excited. But if no one goes to like if this Deadpool movie doesn't do well financially, things are going to change. Things are going to change big time. Where are we at? Where are we at? Prime Day will be Prime. Yeah, Prime Day is going to be the day I'm going to definitely look at it. That's for sure. I want to get like two anyway. So if someone's trying to sell one, if Brainstorm is getting rid of his, like I'm definitely interested. Still wondering why it's taking so long to do Loud Pedal, Red Mirage, and Slapdash from those molds because they have to. Again, it's all about the slots, my friend. It has nothing to do with they don't need to do it right away. They need to get the slots. They need the openings. So it's the same thing. You only get two core classes a wave. You only get four deluxes a wave. You only get two Voyagers a wave. You only get 1 to 2 liters a wave. And sometimes they fill it with package refreshes. Sometimes they don't have enough people doing development. There's not enough manpower. There's so many different factors for why that's not happening. And you might say to yourself, manpower, what do I need a manpower for a repaint? Someone's got to make that color layout. Someone's got to plan out that color layout. Someone has to make sure it works. Someone has to make sure the decos work. It takes manpower. or do you want just AI to do it? But I mean, so it'll happen. It'll happen sooner or later, but it'll happen. If you look at if you look at some of the old classics molds and how long it took for certain colors to happen. Sometimes it took 4 or 5 years for certain color waves to happen. Sarah, just please let Beast Wars alone. The terrible Netflix thing was enough. Just re-release the series in HD. You know what? One day we'll get a nice Blu-ray box set or whatever if physical media doesn't completely die. You know, that would be nice. Although now the new thing that's going on where a lot of discs are dying now, a lot of people are noticing that, which is getting crazy. Warner Brothers, I probably should say this. This came out recently. Warner Brothers put out a press release that if you bought a DVD from them between 2006 and 2009, it probably doesn't work anymore because of the way that they did the layering of the disc. So there's a lot of like Super Friends DVD box sets that are dead. Certain Batman stuff is dead. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. There's a guy who talked about it way better than I am right now that could address it all for you. And then he has a master list that Warner Brothers put out of everything that doesn't work anymore from their DVDs. It's pretty wild, which is so disgusting for people that might have invested tons of money into stuff. Uh, oh my God, we have only 8 minutes left. We have only 8 minutes left. It always flies with you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are incredible. Or dare I say, Jossum. I love it. But yeah, it's getting back to what I was saying before. Transformers is going to have to they're going to have to reevaluate where the brand resonates with people because you can't rely on this guy forever. And by this guy, I mean the 35 to 40-year-old that grew up on G1. You can't rely forever on the 25 to 30-year-old that grew up on Beast Wars. And you can't rely forever on the 14-year-old who you already lost anyways because of Pokemon and video games and Yu-Gi-Oh! And everything that was hot for that generation that Transformers was fighting with. If you were an Armada kid, I guarantee if you were a kid who collected Armada toys, you also had Pokemon cards. You probably had some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You probably had a PlayStation or a GameCube or a Game Boy Advance or a DS. There was other things in your life that you also have nostalgia for that could easily pull you away from Transformers and make you not go back. So it's a tough one. Was watching for the Vin Diesel advertisement alone, of course. Brainstorm. Speaking of physical, Warner Brothers shut down Rooster Teeth and hid all their series on YouTube, including my favorite Ruby, which is lucky you got the Blu-ray. Well, make sure those Blu-rays work, my brother. After what I just said, I don't know where the Ruby stuff. I know it says RVB, but I know it's Ruby. Um, People are like wondering how is he reading that. So it's something where you know look if you bought look it up, guys. Don't take my word for it. There's a few videos, a few people have been reporting it. It's just that I saw it was in my feed, and me, I own a lot of Batman DVDs, and I was just like, oh my God. And one of them doesn't work anymore. One of my Super Friends DVD box sets, I went to go check it, all the discs are dead. They all have, like, I guess they have like errors on them. I can't even attach it to the computer and get it to work. I can't even save the information. So imagine I bought those discs probably from HYE or HMV or something. I probably bought them like full price, $19-$25. It's all trash now. It doesn't work anymore. Now I have a fancy looking box with a bunch of discs in it that are Frisbees. So that's the only one that I got affected with. All the other stuff, my Batman box sets and Batman Begins, they're all okay, but all the others don't. Oh, red versus blue. That's what it is. The Halo stuff. I'm sorry. I think, yeah, Ruby's spelled differently. They spell it some other way. Not Ruby. Yeah, okay, there we go. Really? They got rid of all the red versus blue stuff? I'm pretty sure that stuff's online, though. I'm sure someone backed it up, you know? I'm pretty sure some people back that stuff up. There's good versions of Beast Wars on YouTube. Yeah, there's someone that did a 4K version of Beast Wars that's out there. It's probably looks better than any DVD we've ever gotten. So you have options out there. There's tons of options. But like I said, you're gonna have it's a different world. It's a different world. Things are changing. You know, the we're going further away from physical media. We're getting further away from physical product. You know, as time progresses, these finite things like plastics, which are made from oils, are going to become more expensive and more difficult. And Transformers as a brand will survive and will continue, but it'll just continue in other platforms. If Hasbro's smart, they'll have to double down on the video game stuff, on the trading card stuff, on animations that are on the smaller screens that are aimed at a different audience and are easier to find. That's how it's going to have to be. You know, movie having a $400,000 blockbuster movie that barely breaks even, if at all, is not a way to go about advertising your product. And then that $400,000 blockbuster movie that didn't even make money, it barely broke even, and the toys didn't sell well. That's a double loss in my mind from a business standpoint. And you got to go back to the drawing board and you got to revisit what you do and really rethink things. Ashna, that is how I got my Armada stuff. My Pokemon Go friends found out I was a Transformer guy and they gave it all to me. Well, there you go. See? Damn, I hope my GoBots and Centurion discs are okay. Oh my God, that's true. The GoBots WB archives. Those true. Yeah, check those. I have that one too. I didn't even check that. Crap, I didn't think that. I forgot that that was the WB archive stuff. Oh no, I gotta check that. Oh no. If that doesn't work, that's gonna frickin' suck. Brainstorm 2002, a lot of people did, but it was disappointing because it was free for years on YouTube. Yeah, that's why. Like Red versus Blue for the longest time. That's how I watched it back in the day. I'm sure someone backed it up. That's the one good thing is, you know, at the end of the day, you could yell at piracy all you want, but when companies do stuff like that ruin an official way to own it, then you got to go pirate. You know, look, if you give me an official way to own it, I will give you my money. But if you don't give me an official way to own it, or if something dies on me that I gave my money to, I'm going to bootleg it. That's a reality, you know? Do you think Hasbro CEO's direction of Magic the Gathering and D&D is smart? No. 100% no. Yes, for the MTG thing because they're just milking people for money and cardboard costs absolutely nothing to do. No for D&D because the D&D people were smart and they actually put their foot down and said, "Screw you, we'll go elsewhere." But those are two very different markets. D&D people are very frugal. So the fact that they were trying to squeeze money out of people who are very frugal was a bad move. Magic the Gathering people, unfortunately, are whales, as the term is called, which is they spend a ton of money and they don't even think twice about it. And they're just taking advantage of whales and they keep doing it and they'll keep doing it forever. I mean, that's what Secret Layer is. Hey, how do we get them to spend $30 for 4 trading cards? It's amazing what they're doing to the Magic the Gathering fans, but that's not in my business. I buy Magic cards, I love Magic cards, but I also know when not to spend money. I wait, I take a step back, I buy singles. I know how to save money there. T-Formers 2002, all Rooster Teeth shows are out there, and if you know where to look, perfect. Then get it that way. If they're going to screw over the fans, then get it that way. Mark Morales with the $2 super chat. DVDs are dying. Does that apply to older games? Of course. The problem with video games is they're more likely to have disc damage on them than movies. You watch a DVD, right? You put it in the disc tray, you play it once, and then it sits on your shelf. But how many times did you pull out your favorite games and put it on the disc, take it out, put it on the disc, take it out? How many times have you side loaded a PlayStation 3 game or side loaded a game from another console and had there was obviously a little bit of friction on the surface with that could lead to disc rot. Video games are way more susceptible to that. And it's going to get to a point where the collectible market of video games, I wonder what the long term is going to be of that because yeah, a Nintendo cartridge or a Super Nintendo or N64 is pretty bulletproof by being a cartridge on a chip. But the light memory stuff, all those discs from PlayStation, everything, that's the ones where you're going to have to definitely play it first to test it before you buy. Because the worst thing is you're going to buy original print of Banjo Kazooie for PlayStation 1 from like 1995 and it doesn't work anymore, even with the layering that they used to do back then. Sarah, just for the record, my grandpa always gifts me knockoff Beast Wars because he likes it. Young lady of a Chinese store. Well, bootlegs of Beast Wars are always cool, especially when they come in unique color waves. Ashna Donmer, I still play 3-5. My group never move on. Yeah. Well, the D&D people, and I'm not a D&D person at all, but I'll give them all the credit because they were smarter than a lot of people. They were just like, screw you. Screw you. Oh, you're going to charge us for our books now and subscriptions? Then we're going to move on to something else. And that takes some balls, you know. That's like if the Transformer community collectively just said, oh, you're going to overcharge us for Transformers, then we're going to go buy Bakugan from Spin Master from now on. We'll get our transforming spherical fix elsewhere. Like that took a lot of balls from the D&D community to do that. And that was very smart of them. And it worked. So let that be a lesson. It worked. Hasbro backed off and went, uh-oh, no, 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 we need money. So that was very smart of them. And they did a great job. Fantastic job. And we are past the 2-hour mark. We just absolutely flew today. And I'll read Eric's post because it's the last one of the day and it's a non-super chat, but God bless cartridges. You know, it is what it is. But again, thank you all for coming for once again another beautiful live stream. Once again, support Symbiote Studios, the new Hot Rod plush. Might as well we'll put up the video one more time. Before we go, one more time.
It's Hot Rod!
What you want? What you want? Come on. What you want? Come on. What you want? Come on.
So go check that out. Again, Symbiote Studios, the new Hot Rod plush and Ultra Magnus is available right now. Go get yourself a flame-chested Chosen One. And again, thank you to everyone else, especially Aaron Archer and all his love and support too. Hope everything's good with you, Aaron. And thank you to all the fans, everyone who super chatted today, all the beautiful green names that are my YouTube members, all the Patreon people that are chilling in the Discord right now and hanging out here too today, all my Discord people, my Patreon people, my YouTube people, all the people that keep the lights on this beautiful pod that we do Monday to Friday and Saturday nights chilling with you. Thank you all for coming in. We're going to chill tonight. We're going to relax. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight because I picked up a bunch of toys and everything in the secondary market. I got some stuff I got to sort. TFCon Toronto is coming closer and closer. We have San Diego Comic-Con coming up that I'm going to be part of too. I have a Gundam event that I'm going to tomorrow. I have to go to a Gundam event tomorrow for a meeting at there. So I'm going to be bringing one of my kits with there. I'm thinking of bringing Michael Koo gave me a really cool 7-Eleven kit. I think I'm going to bring that one to build. I'm not too sure yet. But so I got a lot of stuff I got to do tomorrow. But thank you all for coming. Again, thank you for all the love and support. Once again, if you want to continue supporting the podcast, more Patreon link is in the link in the description. That's probably the best way to support the podcast is through the Patreon. Some people like the double dip and also join the YouTube membership, which are the green names. That's that join button that YouTube provides. Otherwise, thank you for all the Patreon listener questions, all the other things, all the super chats, all the beautiful stuff. I'm going to cover some more stuff. I had some other Patreon listener questions I wanted to talk about today, but we got so derailed. I didn't realize how fast everything passed today. But thank you all for coming. We'll talk to you again in the future. And take care of yourself, your friends, your family, your loved ones, and your health. And your health. Because you only have one of each. You only have one family. You only have one health. And you only have one true group of friends. I'm out of here, guys. We'll talk to you soon on the Transformers Slag podcast. Take care.